the subject of daycare came up when J.D. Vance was asked what we need to do to lower the cost of daycare. And his response was twofold. Option one, have relatives watch your kids for free. Have your parents watch the kids. Have your sister, your brother watch the kids, and that way it'll save you money. Option two is lower the standard of quality certification and training needed for daycare workers, so that we could have more daycares because they wouldn't have to become as educated and trained as everybody else does. So either have a relative watch the kids for free, or just lower the standards for daycare workers. Have less qualified people watch our kids. And so we were talking about it. And this person right here is talking about something that millions of families in this country have to deal with. Thank God we don't have to deal with it anymore. But when I say what I'm about to say, my wife from the other office across the hall is going to hear it, and I'm betting she's going to have some type of response. So this person's telling their own daycare horror story. She says, daycare is breaking us. Over $2,000 a month for two kids, one who's in pre-K. I hear you. When we moved out here 20 years ago, our daycare bill was more than our mortgage. Like by a few $100s. More than our mortgage. And we had a shit fucking mortgage initially, right? Because we had credit. We were paying a little bit more. We had a high interest rate. So we had a beefy mortgage when we moved out here. And our daycare was still more than our mortgage. Two kids, a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old at the time.
It was $75 more than our mortgage.
I thought it was a few hundred more. Okay. But, I mean, it might have been 75. Either way, it was more than our mortgage. And that's what people like this woman here, people like we were 20 years ago, that's what millions of Americans go through. You need two incomes to survive. You have since the 80s. Hell, since the 70s, probably. So you need some form of daycare. But then you can't afford the fucking daycare. And if you can't afford the daycare, and Renee has known a few people like this, they work, but after they pay daycare, they're working 40 hours for a few $100 because they're paying the fucking daycare.
50% of my income went to daycare.
50% of my income went to daycare, she said.
When we moved out here. But it was because we couldn't live without the other 50%.
Exactly.
So, and once the kids moved on, then we could get, 70% of my income.
Yeah. So the fact that you have, it's in my lifetime since the 70s, you've needed to have two incomes in the household most of the time in order to survive. But in order to have those two incomes, you have to have some form of daycare that has become so astronomically overpriced that you can't afford it. It's killing them. It's killing everyday working Americans. It really is. And not everybody has the luxury of just handing their kids off to their parents or their sisters or their brothers and having a family member watch them for free. We were dirt poor when I was a kid. And when I say dirt poor, I mean dirt fucking poor. There was not food every night. Sometimes you went to bed hungry. Dirt fucking poor. So how did my parents do it? Well, they had the luxury of having my grandparents on my mom's side watch us for free. Not everybody has that. We had our parents, and you want to know what they were able to do for us? They were able to, when our daycare went on vacation, took a 2-week vacation or a 1-week vacation every year, they split up and they took the kids for the 2 weeks so that we didn't have to stay home for 2 weeks with the kids.
Yeah, because I didn't have vacation time.
Right. Daycare is a problem. The cost of daycare is a problem, I should say, and needs to get under control. And the answer isn't lower the standards for the fucking daycare workers. That's never the answer. And the answer sure as fuck isn't dumping them off on a relative for free so that you can save money. This person is exactly right. Daycare is killing Americans right now.